and today we're putting on a short game clinic. We're going to be working on a shot that is just off of the fringe, more than your height away from the edge of the green and the fringe. So some people choose to putt this, and that's a good option. I kind of like to use the 6-foot rule for the amount of space that you have. If you're over 6 feet away from the edge of the green and you're in the fringe, rather than what we see a lot of our players do is pull out a 56 degree or something that's even more lofted than that, we want to get that ball on the ground as soon as possible. So when I was on tour, I like to use my 5-iron. With my amateur players and my recreational golfers, I like to suggest the 7-iron or the 8-iron. So it's a bit of a bump and run type of shot. And the reason I have these fun circles is because we're going to be dividing the green up into quarters or sections. So the pin that I'll be going to is that Oreo flag out there, as you can see, and the edge of the green is just here. Now, the landing spot is key for our players. We want to land the ball with this shot with a 5-iron. I would land it a quarter of the way there. So I've placed these circles down. You can see one yellow one is up by the pin. We've got the orange one, which is the halfway point. And I have this yellow one here because this is the one I'm going to be aiming for distance-wise to land my ball and allow for that ball to run out and into the hole, of course, right? So we will be using the 5-iron for starters, and then I'll be showing you the 7-iron as well. But the landing spot is the key. All right, so many of our players have such great intentions of getting set up, looking at their target. Maybe they even do think of that landing spot, which is key, because from that landing spot, that's where you take your practice swing, because that's the distance you want to hit the golf ball. But what happens is the brain does a switcheroo. The player gets over the golf shot and has the landing spot in mind, has the ultimate destination in mind, gets over the ball, and as soon as they take it back, they're thinking about the actual destination. So what they're doing is flying it much, much too far. And you'll notice this with the players that you play with. It's almost as if when you're just tossing something, let's say, into a basket, and naturally you want it to fly up and drop down into that basket, much like the golf hole. But if you do that in golf, if we hit our shot almost all the way to the basket, aka the hole, it's going to hit and run past the hole. So here you've done something like really good. I mean, your depth perception is probably spot on, but in this shot, we're going to concentrate on where we want to land it and how little that swing needs to be to land it just a quarter of the way onto the green. So let's take a look at that shot now. All right, so now let's get into that shot. We're just off of the fringe, more than 6 feet off of the green. We have our landing spot in mind, which is a quarter of the way there from the edge of the green to the cup. I'm going to take my practice stroke with that in mind. I only want to land the ball a quarter of the way there. So the setup for this, I've got the 7-iron, is going to be quite upright. I'm 6 feet tall. I use men's standard length clubs. So notice how I will be gripping down on the club. My arms are nearly hanging straight down. The eyes are pretty much over the golf ball. And then we're simply going to be rocking the shoulders back and forth. The distance that we take it back and through will dictate how far the ball goes. You want that tick-tock motion with a little bit of acceleration, but just like the putting stroke, from the waist down, nothing is moving. This is such a simple shot and so reliable. You'll make so many of these for pars and birdies. I just love this shot. So you're going to set up as if it were your putter, a traditional putter ball just inside lead foot, eyes pretty much over golf ball. Again, you're just thinking about that spot where you want the ball to land. So with that in mind, I feel like it's going to be about that big of a swing. Approaching ball, looking at spot where I want it to land, getting set up. Maybe you look once more. back at ball, thinking of spot in mind, back and through. And then gauge your distance, see how far that ball went, and then make an adjustment. If it was too short, then take a slightly larger swing. Now, play around with this. Grab the 6, grab the 5-iron. Even if it's a 5 hybrid, it'll work. So obviously with less loft, with the 5-iron, the ball is going to come out just a little lower. It's going to roll a little bit more. So with the 7-iron, you might need to land the ball about 1/3 of the way there. And with the 5-iron, you could do the 1/4. But again, play with this shot and figure out for yourself what is going to work for you. I love the 5-iron because it rolls so much like a putter. So good luck with this shot. Let me know how it goes. Like, subscribe, and more videos to come. Thanks so much.